Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the art session series. And today we'll be doing a voiceover of a recent sketch I did last night. Super quick. I think the full time, real time is like 16 something minutes. It was somewhere, it's less than 20 minutes. So it was a super quick sketch. But it kind of proved to me that I don't have to spend hours drawing or sketching. I can just spend like 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes doing something. And just, stopping there. Like I don't even have to complete the full image. Like if something is enough, then that's it. So I was super glad that I was able to, at least get this sketch in. Because I feel like if I skip a day of not like sketching, doodling, even if it's like a 5-minute sketch, I just lose the flow, or I lose sort of my artistic gains for some reason. Like it just I feel rusty the next time I do something, especially when I've gone weeks, even if it's a day of not like drawing. So it's kind of a good example test for myself, to make me understand or realize that I can, like, I don't really have excuses, right? When it comes to putting in even just a little bit of time into making art. So by the way, the reference I was using was it's a character, I believe, from a recent Gundam. Not the most recent one, because I think the recent one is called Jigux something. Jigux. It has a very weird name. But I'm referring to the one with the red head, short hair girl. Yeah, because I think there are two main like characters there. The one with the long white hair and the other one with the short curly red hair. Sorry, just drinking some coffee here. And I think that, well, actually both of these animes, these Gundam animes, they have like a Yuri sort of girl on girl kind of thing going on. It's like implied, but it's not all the way there, I believe. Anyway, that was the show I was referencing, but yeah, this character is not the redhead short hair girl. She's one of the because I saw like a snapshot of her, and I think someone was mentioning how she was essentially seated for most of the show. Like she wasn't even leaving her actual couch. And I think they did emphasize how her thighs were kind of plumpy. Because I don't know, I guess people just like her thighs for some reason. Like it's kind of, you know how sometimes the leggings are too tight and the fat kind of just collects at the top of where the leggings sort of end. So I kind of get why she's a thing. But anyway, that character is the reference for this specific sketch. She has like white hair or grayish hair, kind of thick, darker skin, and I don't think I was able to capture that as well with this sketch. I should have added like a light gray at the very least for the face, because I think I did with like the skin or the legs a little bit, but I kind of forgot to do that with the face. And I'm sketching all of this with just one brush. And I think if you're trying to just build a habit, you don't want to complicate your process. Just stick to one brush. And I think you're more likely to create something, because if you're always in this mode of switching brushes, I think that can, like, it adds more thinking, unnecessary thinking. But if switching between brushes means nothing to you, then go ahead and do it. But if you're someone who's just struggling with doing your art, getting things done, keeping it simple is the best way to go. And this includes so many things. For me, it was using one brush. but also using just grays. I wasn't trying to replicate the colors of the reference. I was just focusing on just grayscale, black and white values. So that's another way of simplifying my process, but also doing everything in one layer, right? I don't have to switch between like a line layer, a shadow layer, or a flats layer. Everything is just on one layer. And the way I'm painting as well is very direct. Like if I want something, I'll put the strokes down. If I don't like something, then I'll paint over it with a different value, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, it's a much faster way of drawing, painting, and I don't know. It just feels a lot. It feels like a natural thing to me, to just because I feel like I'm drawing and painting at the same time. Because if you watch how I paint or create this sketch, I kind of go back and forth between like a very small line to a very thick sized brush. So I constantly go back and forth between different sizes when it comes to this one brush. And I think I've been inspired by, I think the biggest one, the first main guy who really kind of pushed me into this path is Feng Zhu. Like if you watch how he paints his environments or his like creature vehicle designs, even in his like thumbnails, whenever he does like thumbnail sketches, like he'll just one layer as well. Like he'll go back and forth. Like you can see the brush size change constantly. And I think that's a much more natural way for me to like it fits me the best. So I'm not saying you should do this, but I think because for some people they like drawing things via lines, and then once they're satisfied with that drawing, then they'll add in some flats and then paint over it eventually if they need to. So maybe if that's your kind of process and if you're more comfortable with that, then by all means do that. But for me, if you're kind of like me, you're very fluid, you're kind of impatient, I think this is the way to go. And this is going to be so easy because I'm only using one brush. Like I don't have like a pencil brush, I don't have like a rendering brush. It's just one brush that I can draw and paint with at the same time. And yeah, it's super fun. And I think I've mentioned this briefly. You don't have to do the sketch all the way. Like even if you have reference, like you can just pick parts that kind of interest you, and then that's it. Like you don't have to copy everything 1:1, right? Sometimes you just want to study like 10%. Well, maybe that's too extreme, but who knows? The point is, you don't have to create a carbon copy of the thing you're referencing. And I think that's a common trap for a lot of artists. Now, I wouldn't say I'm like a pure beginner. Now, I'm not a super pro, but I think even with my decent amount of experience, I still have that kind of inclination to want to copy essentially what I'm seeing. And it's something that I need to learn how to like stop and break away from. And I think doing sketches like these helps me to sort of practice that bad habit. Or it helps you practice to get away from that bad habit. And yeah, I think I did a good job with like the sleeves, right? She's wearing like a really loose top, nice short as well. I could have drawn the legs, but I feel like it was too much for this specific sketch. And like to me, if it feels like you're pushing yourself too much to the point where you're not enjoying the sketch, I recommend you just stop there and just limit yourself to an area where you're somewhat like it's challenging, but you're actually kind of enjoying it. And I think that's a good thing to focus on, especially for if you just want to do art, right? Like you don't have to do everything the right way or things all the way. If you only do like 70% of say your ideal, because in our minds we have like an ideal output. If you can only do like 70%, 60%, but when you're doing that, you feel good about it anyway. Like you're not really like in pain that you weren't able to do the last like 30 or 40%. If you're still happy with the results, with the process, with doing the thing, then I think you won. I think you're winning. So yeah, my point is just don't push yourself too much. I mean, yeah, push yourself to draw, to paint, but don't push yourself to draw and paint like all the way. And sometimes I do get surprised because I see so many artists on like YouTube, especially those who like do streams. A lot of their videos will last like 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, and I'm like, like it's not even that's not even in my realm of reality. Like to me, these people don't even exist. They're like robots or androids or something. But then again, if you watch them paint, they're not really that fast when they're drawing. They're kind of taking their time. It almost feels like they're sipping tea or drinking coffee or eating while drawing. If you watch their real-time like paintings or process, it's gonna be very, very approachable. However, if you look at the actual time code, seeing like 7 hours, like it's not a common thing to see on YouTube, or yeah. So seeing that kind of number, it's gonna be quite intimidating, and yeah. But contrasting that whole thing to this quick sketch, I think I'm happy, I'm satisfied. So I think this is a good direction for me, and maybe it's a good direction for you too. If you're struggling with doing an hour, even 30 minutes, fuck it, just do like a 5-minute sketch or doodle. And the less tools you have, or the less things you have to do to make a quick sketch, then the better, because you're more likely to do it. You have less friction. So again, for me, black and white only or grayscale, one brush, one layer, a very direct painting style, meaning I go from a very small brush size to a very big brush size rather quickly. So I have a very dynamic, fluid way. Like it's not like I have a line sketch and then a coloring phase, where I do things step by step. I'm kind of doing everything at the same time. And the downside of that is it's gonna be a little bit scattered. Like in the initial phase, it's gonna look kind of ugly, which is normal whenever you do this kind of fluid kind of thing or approach. But it won't take long before something looks kind of good. And again, for me, I think the real time for this specific video is what? 16 minutes, 16 and 30 seconds. I may have to speed it up to kind of match the audio or the voiceover, but yeah, it did not take that long. So yeah. So I guess that's it for this episode in the art session series. Hopefully you enjoyed. It's a super quick sketch, but I think it's it's very encouraging for me to especially if you're like impatient like me. I'm not a very patient guy. I'm very like needy and just like I need it now kind of vibe. But seeing how fast I can do like a legit nice simple sketch it's very encouraging for me, and it makes me want to do more. And knowing that it doesn't have to take too long gives me even more encouragement. So hopefully this video helps you in some way. And yeah, if you want the brushes, it's always going to be linked below. By the way, I am using Clip Studio Paint. For the past few videos, I have been using Photoshop, but I've noticed it has been lagging again. So I have the same sort of brush set for both Clip Studio Paint and Photoshop, but this time I'm just using Clip Studio Paint just because it's way faster, especially when I'm recording. Photoshop is, it's pretty much, it's fast, but when I'm recording, screen recording, it does like lag too much, and I don't like that. It is gonna make the actual video look bad. So I guess I'm gonna be going back mostly to Clip Studio Paint in terms of my demos, just because it's gonna be way faster, more smoother for the videos. But again, same brushes, so there you go. Hopefully enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.